For the first time in history, the Jack Daniel Distillery has introduced a 100% malted barley grain bill with the new Jack Daniel's twice barreled special release American Single Malt finished in Oloroso Sherry Casks. That's right, Jack Daniel's famous for their Tennessee whiskey with an American Single Malt finished in Oloroso Sherry Casks. It's okay, you can be honest. Some of you are like, wait, what? And then some of you are also like, wait, okay, this sounds kind of delicious. Well, let's find out. It's the Mash and Drum. What's up, folks? I'm Jason C. from the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. Welcome back to the show. Like, subscribe, do all the things you need to do. Up until very recently, American Single Malt was more of a descriptive measure of what's in the bottle than the actual age or legal distinction in the US. Now, unlike bourbon and Tennessee whiskey, American Single Malt has no legal status through the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, better known as the TTB. But as of this year, American Single Malt will be an officially recognized American whiskey category. It's about damn time. Now, this is huge for brands like Balcones out of Texas, Virginia Distilling Company, Westland, and a lot more. It's estimated right now there are around 200 distilleries in the US making some amount of American Single Malt, that's including Jack Daniel's, and roughly 5 that are only making single malt whiskey in the US. With the category being official, American Single Malts can now start to compete with traditional categories in the US, which is huge for them. Now, the proposal filed by the TTB says to be labeled an American Single Malt, your whiskey has to meet the following criteria. So it must be made from 100% malted barley, mashed in the United States, and must be distilled at a single US distillery to a maximum of 160 proof, matured in the US in new or used oak containers, no larger than 700 liters, and it must be bottled at no less than 80 proof. Now, I love this because I feel that designation gives the right amount of structure without impeding creativity. Okay, before we go back to the Jack Daniel's, let's hear about today's sponsor, the perfect gift for the whiskey lover. Actually, they have a little something for everyone. So it's not just whiskey, a little bit of everything. It's Original Grain. All right, guys, Original Grain, Mash and Drum's newest sponsor, has been making watches from unique materials for almost a decade. Now, I'm a watch guy, but when I heard Original Grain was making watches, sunglasses, rings, and more inlaid with whiskey barrel wood, I was all in. Now, their whiskey barrel series, which I'm wearing right here, is crafted with reclaimed American oak bourbon barrel wood. You could see the barrel wood in each detail of the watch. So 2 things. 1, they have many different colors and options to match up with your personal style. And 2, with the holidays upon us, is the perfect gift that doesn't break the bank. And it's not just whiskey barrels. They have options made from tailored guitars, tequila barrels, beer barrels, military ammo crates for anyone with a military background, and even watch bands for Apple Watches inlaid with whiskey wood. They even just launched a limited edition collection in collaboration with Buffalo Trace to inlay their watches with reclaimed Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels with a hand-torched finish. They're beautiful. So no matter what you resonate with, there is a perfect watch for you and any loved one. 100% money-back guarantee, veteran and family-owned company, free shipping, great warranty. There's a lot to like here. Okay, so time's running out for the holidays. Here's how to get it. Click the link below in the description, go to originalgrain.com/mash and use code MASH at checkout. They are currently running a 20% off Black Friday deal right now, but using my link and code will give you an extra 10% off. So that makes it a total of 30% off. This is the highest markdown you're gonna get for the holidays. Now click that link below and go shopping. Happy holidays, everybody. All right, let's talk about the new release. The limited edition 2022 special release from Jack Daniel's features a new 100% malted barley grain bill from Jack Daniel's, the first whiskey of its kind from Lynchburg, Tennessee. Now, we did get to taste a little bit of that malt in the triple mash release this year. Of course, this is a blend of straight whiskeys. This has a blend of American malt, rye, and Tennessee whiskeys. So now we get to try just the malt. The new single malt whiskey passes through Jack Daniel's traditional charcoal mellowing process, and it's then matured in new charred American white oak barrels for at least 4 years. It's then finished for an additional 2 years in the finest quality Spanish Oloroso Sherry Casks from the Antonio Paez Lobato cooperage before bottling at cask proof. Now, the proofs on these will range depending on what bottle you get. My bottle is actually 105.7 proof, and the proofs will range from 106.1 to 107.8. These are starting to hit the market now at $70 for a 700 milliliter size bottle. I cracked open this sample a few weeks ago on my live stream once I got the sample, and the color on this is really nice. I mean, you could see how dark it is. It's got a really dark copper feel to it, you know, from those Oloroso Sherry Casks. All right, let's dive in and see if it's opened up at all. So when I think American Single Malt, I think chocolate, and I think this has all the chocolate you can handle. That's the first thing that jumps out of the glass. It is a very rich milk chocolate, almost like, you know, cocoa powder. Now what that Oloroso Sherry Cask brings is just a lot of great dark fruit, raisin, raspberry jam flavors as well. But somehow, some way, there is still a little bit of that Jack Daniel's, you know, that bananas Foster note that goes on in here. A little bit of that ripe banana. That note is just such a backbone of what Jack Daniel's does. It's just always crazy to me. The combination of those sherry notes, the raisin, the fig, combined with that malty chocolatey note that I'm getting here, the cocoa powder, and then kind of that Jack Daniel's, a little bit of a banana hint. It's, you know, I'm digging it. It's pretty unique. All right, let's try it. Here we go, guys. Cheers. Wow, it's really interesting. The first time I ever had this was raspberry jam in a glass. And I'm still getting some of that. But man, the Jack Daniel's DNA is starting to kind of push through and make its way to the forefront here a little bit. So you get a lot of, there's some maple notes there. Again, the bananas Foster's there. But the raisin and the chocolate all kind of just underlie the entire experience. It's complete raspberry jam. And then there's like this dark chocolate covered raisin thing happening right at mid palate. Then the quintessential Jack Daniel flavors kind of come in. A little bit of, again, that bananas Foster has a really nice finish to it. It's peppery, it lingers, it's also chocolatey. Now it's different and unique in the way that we've never had a product like this from Jack Daniel's, but at the same time, I'm someone who drinks single malt. I love single malt scotch. I drink a lot of barley, malted barley. I'm a huge fan of American Single Malt as well. So to try this isn't necessarily unique for me, but those flavors that I'm used to in an American Single Malt with a Jack Daniel's influence to it, that's what's unique to me and what's kind of throwing me for a little bit of a loop here. Let's try it again. I mean, there's not much more to say except that it's raspberry jam. I mean, it is so much raspberry right now. I think as this sample has opened up, it's gotten even more raspberry, chocolatey. Again, a little bit more of that Jack Daniel's note. You know, trying to compare this to another American Single Malt, I think would be tough because of the Jack Daniel's influence on it. A little bit of the raisin creeps in too. Once it hits mid palate, that's when you get like the chocolatey malt characteristic that kind of flows to the back of the palate and the finish as well. But all in between, you get those Jack Daniel's flavors. I think you get the maple syrup, you get a little bit of the, again, that bananas Foster note that kind of comes in. But together, cohesively, it's a really nice whiskey. Now, is this gonna be for everyone? Probably not, but let's discuss it in the final breakdown. All right, final breakdown for the new Jack Daniel's 2022 special release single malt finished in Oloroso Sherry Casks. Price for this one, $70 for a 700 milliliter bottle, if you could find it. These generally end up being very hard to find, which brings us to secondary market value. Already seeing these between $400 and $500 on the secondary market. Someone even told me a store had these for upwards of $1,000, which is, that's just, they should be thrown in jail. All right, availability for this, let's say together, limited. However, Jack Daniel's does have a very, very huge reach across the United States. So there's probably gonna be a lot of markets that get this, depending how many and depending where. Well, that depends on your state. Value for this one. Value for this one I think is going to be, and I think it's probably gonna be the same for all Jack Daniel's special releases, at least at retail, I think it's a high value. You're getting normally a very high proof, very well aged, delicious whiskey from Jack Daniel's, and I think that's why they get so much attention when these come out each and every year. Most I would pay. This is tricky because I personally really like this, and it's different and it's unique. It's got all the things that I look for in whiskeys these days. So for me, I might pay a little bit more to get this. I'd probably go up to $125, $150 to get a bottle like this, but there's no way in hell I'm going up to like $4 or $5 or whatever, you know, that cost may be that we're seeing already on the secondary markets. All right, this is to recommend. For me personally, absolutely yes. But again, I love American Single Malt and I love single malt in general. I love these notes that I'm getting in this. But for the rest of you out there, I would say this is easy. It's a try before you buy, because this is a different profile than you're used to with Jack Daniels. Listen, I could rattle off raspberry, chocolate, and all these delicious notes that I'm getting in this whiskey, but some folks that drink a lot of bourbon or drink other things just have a weird thing with malt. So I feel like if you're gonna go forward and say the only option for you to get this bottle would be you would have to spend upwards of $300, $400 to get one, but you plan on drinking it, I would say try before you buy if you can. Go to a friend's house, go to a bar, see if you can get a pour of this, get a sample from somebody before you make the decision to go forward. Only because it is different, it's unique, it's not your regular Jack Daniels that you're accustomed to. But for anyone else out there that loves American Single Malt, it's really good. I have to put this against the Flight, against some other of my favorite American Single Malts to see how it stands up. And hopefully I can get a full bottle of this at some point without breaking the bank, but we'll see how that goes. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review on the Mash and Drum for the new Jack Daniels Twice Barreled Special Release American Single Malt finished in Oloroso Sherry Casks. Never gonna get tired of saying that. Actually, I think I am pretty tired of saying that. If you did, hit the subscribe button below. Please hit the like button. If you haven't yet, find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are all in on this. It doesn't matter what it tastes like, you're buying one anyway, or if you're if you have some trepidation before pulling the trigger on this bottle. Always like talking to you guys. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Cheers. See you next time right here on the Mash and Drum. Take care.